So you've finalized your animal icon and you've taken a digital picture of it. Now, how do you take that digital picture and convert it into a vector drawing? Well, I'm going to show you two of the ways you can do it in this video. I'm using a drawing that I found online at this website, so I'm just giving a close-up of it here. I want to make sure that this creator is acknowledged and credited for their work. Let's make a new document sized to the dimensions in the project brief. So let's open up Illustrator. So I'll hit File, New, and I want this to be 8 by 10. 8 by 10, yes, create. Let's place our letter. I already have the document with the fonts open. This is the document from Slate, and I've chosen the sans serif page. Make sure you have both the sans serif PDF and the serif PDF downloaded. That way you have a choice between whichever one you want. Let's grab this one. This is interesting. So I'm going to hit copy, so Command C, and go back to my new 8 by 10 page, and I'm going to hit Command V, which is paste. Now, because I don't want to lose anything, let's just save this. File save, or Command S. So I'll call it Vectorized Rabbit Drawing, save. Okay. All right. Scale it to the size that feels right for the space. Remember to hold down the Shift key as you're increasing the size of it. Here's what happens if I don't hold down the Shift key. You can't warp these. You're not allowed to warp the letters, so I'm just going to undo. Let's hide that layer and create a new one. Go to the right-hand menu here. There's Layers. First, I'm going to create a new layer. We'll call this, I'm going to rename the first one Letter. And I'm going to hide it. Let's place a sketch. What I can actually do is just drop it. So drag, so I've got it dragged, and just drop it right in. You are attempting to paste or drag into one or more layers that are locked or hidden. Do you want to unlock and show all appropriate layers? Oh, so what I've done is I've accidentally tried to put it into the letter layer. So it's because it's selected here. So let's go back to the layer 2. So now it should work. Let's try that again. Alternatively, I know that sometimes that doesn't work for you. For some people, try it a couple of times. But if it doesn't work for you, go to File, Place, and then search that image. So if I search this one here, I hit Place. So now you can see it's preloaded here. I'll do that. I'm going to choose this one. I have my magnifying glass tool chosen here, and if I just click and then drag, I can actually do it just a little bit more. Okay, good. I'm going to use all the pen tool skills I talked about in the tutorial about the pen tool in Illustrator. I'm going to flip over to another document. Keep in mind that the goal is to create an icon that is not a straight silhouette like this, and is also not just a line drawing like this. Why? Because they're boring. I want something more like this. The eyes and the nose are holes cut out of this white shape of the rabbit. I'll add a pink background in case you're confused about this. You see how the face is always there now? So the features are now pink, and if I turn off the pink background, the face disappears. If I move the animal back onto the R, onto the letter, the face comes back. So the face that we're seeing is the R coming through those holes cut into the animal shape. So I hope that's clear. Let's draw this thing. Lock the sketch layer. So I'm going to lock that. I'm going to create a new layer. We're actually going to build this in 2 layers. The first layer, I'm going to call it Silhouette. If I start drawing with my pen tool and it looks like this, I'll show you what happens. You see how if I have it filled with black, I can't see what's underneath and I'm not sure where to go. Let's delete that. So what I need is a stroke color that I can see. So with the stroke selected over here on the left, I'll go over to my colors and I'm going to choose blue. So I'll just move this slider up and now I've got a blue stroke. That's perfect. I might even change the thickness of the stroke a little bit. Let's make it 0.5. That's good. I'll use my zoom tool, and I'm going to draw myself a silhouette. Now I'm finding there's something going on. It feels like it is locking onto something. I'm going to go over to view. Yeah, it looks like at the bottom, and it's going off the page a little bit here, but it looks like I've got snap to point, snap to pixel. I'm going to unselect both of those. So I don't want anything snapping to anything. Oh, and there we go. That feels way better now. So this is more free-flowing. So I'm zoomed in here and I can't move down, but just keep in mind, you can switch to the hand tool by pressing down your space bar. And now I can move up, and when I let go of the space bar, it turns right back into the pen tool. Okay, I've got the silhouette basically, but I'm missing the ear, the arm, and the tail. And I did that on purpose because I want them to be separate. On the toolbar, where the stroke is, I'm going to hit the little swap arrow. Oh, it didn't swap because I don't have it selected. So let's select it, swap. And I'm going to change this to a white rabbit. Let's add features. I'll make a new layer for the features. We'll hide the silhouette, make a new one, and we're going to call it features. And because I've put some work into this already, we're going to hit save. I want to be very selective and add as few features as possible. Remember, the goal is to be minimal with my details so that the icon is focused on the features that define my animal. Okay, that's pretty good. I think I'm going to stop there. These whiskers probably have to be white. Let's go to the layers palette. Get up my silhouette here. Let's make all these. Let's make them white. Okay. Maybe I'll hide it, or I'll put this one over here for now. If you remember, these are going to be black shapes. Let's just select all these things. I'm going to make it black fill. So we'll go back over here to color and make it black. Let's bring back our silhouette. Let's hide the original drawing. Okay, well that doesn't work because now I can't see anything. So let's actually make a new layer and we'll call it background. And what I'll do is I'm going to move this layer to the back. All right, and this is where I can fine tune. Do you know what? I don't know if I want this one. Let's just see what this looks like. I'm going to make this black. And we'll see if I like this. This is where I get to make some decisions here. Let's see, do I like that? Well, it's not bad. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Maybe I'll change the direction of it a little bit. Yeah, okay. You know what? Let's keep it for now. I could change my mind later. I'm fine-tuning now. Okay, what's the next step? Well, I'm going to have to lock this black background because I think it'll help me here. I added these features here, the whiskers, after I did the silhouette, but I actually want them to be part of the silhouette. So select one, hit Shift to select the next one, Shift, select the next one, and then Shift to select the silhouette. I want to combine these into one shape. We're going to go over here, Pathfinder. You'll see this first one here. It says Unite. So what it's done is, I'm going to undo, it looks like what happened is the whisker disappeared here when I hit Unite. It kind of did, but I'll show you why. If I go to Layers, it's because it united everything, and these were objects in different layers. It's now bumped up the silhouette into the next layer. So let's just bring it back down. I want to make sure that these black features are cut out of this rabbit. Okay, so just to show you what I mean, if I turn off this layer and turn on the sketch layer again, you'll see that I now have black shapes on top of a white silhouette. And I don't want black shapes on top of a white silhouette. I want this to be a silhouette with holes where the black shapes are. All my pieces are in place. Before I do anything else, I want to make a copy. So it's always a good idea to make copies of everything. So I'm going to move this over here, and I'm actually going to put it onto its own layer. So let's do that. And it's important that you copy over the parts in the right order. So I've got this new layer here, 6, and actually let's just call it Original. So we can always go back to the original parts if we need them. First I copy over the silhouette. The little color here means that I've selected stuff in that layer. I drag it into Original, and then I will drag features in there as well. And I'll just hide it. How do I cut out these black shapes from this white shape? I'm going to lock silhouette layer, and I'm going to select all my black shapes. Unite them so they're all one shape. Even though they're separate, when I select one of them, it selects all of them. I'll go back here, bring out the silhouette. Now, with the black shapes selected, I'm also going to select the silhouette. And now when I minus front, they're cut out. It's like magic. Did you see what happened there? Let me zoom in. I'll show you one more time. They started as black shapes on top of the white shape. And when I hit this button here, which is minus front, it cuts them out. And now they're holes. And now you can see the sketch behind it. Because I have the ear, the arm, and the tail as separate objects, I want them all to be grouped together so that they're read as one object. So that when I move them around, they don't just, see what happens here? If they're not grouped, they don't move around with the rest of the rabbit. So let's group them. So select them all. And I'm going to go to Object, Group. Now when I select one, the whole thing is selected. Let's just review what we have here. We have an animal that is entirely made of white. That's all it is. It's a white shape. It's a white animal, right? There's no black. There's no other colors. It's entirely made of white. Let's zoom in. So if you look at it, you can see any of the spots that have features are see-through. I can actually see the background. I want to make sure that I emphasize this. This is how your animal should look when you're done. A group of white shapes. Now, I can still edit this if I want to. Select it. I'm going to move it over, and then I'm going to hold down Option. And you can see now I've made a copy. And what I can do is zoom in on the copy, and I can edit this. So because your animal is made of anchors, and I can choose each one of them individually with the white arrow selection tool, it means that I can move them around, which is great. So let's just see if I want to do that. Let's see if I'll make a couple of changes here. Yeah, like for instance, maybe I want these ears to be a lot longer. And then maybe this ear is also longer. Change the shapes here. Maybe I want the tail to be bigger and bushier. Let's do that too. I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to save. So Command S, And let's bring back my letter. I'm going to make a new layer here and call it Final. And I've already copied it over. Hide that. And we're going to hide the sketch. If I want to see the entire page at this point, like zoom out to see the whole page, I hit Command 0. And now I'm going to bring back my letter layer. So let's lock the letter layer so we don't accidentally change it. Now I can move the icon around. Enlarge. I can still move anchors. I'm not going to at this point, but I could move the anchors around. That's really nice. So what I'm liking about this is that it's really incorporating into the R. This part of the R, I want to incorporate that a little bit. Let's change the shapes here. So I'm losing a couple of features. I don't see that the leg details anymore, but I feel like it's okay because I really like the idea that I'm incorporating the letter R into my shape here. This is nice. I'm liking this a lot. This looks great. So what I'm really enjoying about this is that it's fully incorporating the shapes of the R. So you can see I'm not changing the R at all, and I'm just adding that animal right on top. Now, I think the overall shape, the R could be a bit bigger in this. So I'll unlock the letter layer, and now I'll select all, Command A. I'm just going to make everything a bit bigger. Document setup at the top, and edit artboards. And up here, I'll make it landscape. Yeah, I think I like landscape a lot better. This R it feels much wider than it is tall. I don't know if it actually is, but it has that kind of, it just feels like it. So let's see, I can make this larger in here. You can see the outline of the R, the inside that I've covered up. Yeah, I think we're going to call that done. So I hit File, Save. And now to really finalize this, we should save it as a PDF. So PDF, I'm going to hit Save. I'm not going to worry about all this stuff. Illustrator default, that's fine. You could also change it to PDF X1A. In North America, this is the standard for printing a PDF. But for this purpose, we'll just leave it as Adobe Illustrator default. All right, I'm really liking this. So I'll tell you what it is that I like about this. I'm liking that I have completely incorporated the spaces of the R into the shape of the rabbit so that they're completely incorporated. I like that I haven't messed around with the shape of the R, and I feel like the R letter is still completely legible. Because I've completely covered up those spaces, I'm breaking the shape of the R here, I'm breaking it here, I'm breaking it on the edge of the black, and I'm also breaking it just a little bit at the top. Now, if I wanted to, I could make it just a bit bigger and make it so the nose breaks, which is actually, not a bad idea. Maybe I should do that. I will copy this over here, so we always have it, and I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. Let's see, I'm still within that shape. And just for fun, just because I want to break the surface as many places as I can, I'm going to change the shape of this ear just a bit and have it actually break the surface of the R one more time. It makes it even that much more interesting. Okay, save. You know what? I like that better. I like that so much better. So now it's breaking, the nose is touching, the ear is touching, it's overlapping. I like this a lot. So we're going to resave the PDF. So I saved the Illustrator document, and we're going to save as again, PDF. Replace. Good. And now this is what I'm going to upload to Slate when it's due. I just went through the process of taking my sketch that I scanned in, or took a picture of. I traced it with the vector. I adjusted it. I placed it on my letter. I adjusted it again because I really wanted to incorporate it with my letter, and I saved it, and I saved my final. Could I have done this a different way? Yes. For method number 2, which I think is a lot easier than what I just did, I need a very neat drawing with the shapes nicely filled in. Here's an icon I found online that I'll use as my example. So again, we're just going to drag it into Illustrator. Now, I think it's important that we put this on its own layer. And I'm going to call it Photo. And I'm going to hide my final that I just made before. So zooming in, you can see that it's pretty clean. There's some pixelation, but I'm not worried about that. With my image selected, go to Window at the top and select Image Trace. Select Black and White. Select Preview at the bottom. It now looks like it has a very crisp edge. It's already traced it. So that's based on the default settings. Now you can play with the sliders over here. Move the sliders all the way to the right and then all the way to the left to see what happens. Sometimes you'll see something happen dramatically, and other times you won't see hardly any difference at all. Once you find a setting that looks good to you, select Ignore White at the bottom, go to Object at the top, Image Trace, and Expand. There's my icon. Go to View at the top, click Outline, and now you can see very clearly all those vector lines. Go back to GPU Preview. Now we need to place the traced animal shape on the letter. Go to Layers and make it visible. So clicking this box on the layers. We've got the layer with the black letter, and then we've got the layer with the animal that's also in black. So I'm going to hit Command 0 to see everything. I'll make the icon white. Select the icon with the black arrow tool. I'll go into my color palette. Make sure I have fill selected, and I'll just, actually there's a white swatch here, I can click that, or if I go to, we've already got grayscale actually here, move this slider all the way to the left, and now we've got our white animal. So this is where, just like the other one, you play around with the size and the placement and try to figure out where you want the thing. So I'm not going to fuss around with this one too much because I fussed around with the other one. That's the end of the tutorial. All right. Well, happy creating, everybody. And I'll see you in next class. Oh, then maybe I'll have a little coffee. A little coffee.